going on, everybody? So I'm gonna hit y'all with the 5 things I love about my F. It wasn't too hard to make the list, just because, you know, it's my car, it's my baby, I love her. So yeah, I'm gonna hit y'all with a few things. Number one, honestly, is just gonna be the body, the wrap, and just how aggressive it is. I mean, yeah, you know, it's 2IS, but at the same time, it's not any 2IS, you know, it's the F. So that's number one. It's gonna be the exterior, just because of how clean it looks and aggressive. So yeah, that's number one. It's gonna be exterior, especially the way that I've done it. You know, I did the blue, a bright electric blue. It's called royal blue. So I did the wrap, and you know, I did a blacked out, you know, black accent type of thing. I do want to get the reflectors swapped out. I either want to do the smoked, well, I think they're smoked, and then they have one that are actually they work with the turn signal. So I'm thinking about getting these red ones swapped out, because that's the only red on the car still, really, because originally my car is a Matador Mica red, as you can tell by the inside door jamb. A little dusty, but yeah, so originally it's red, but I was able to do it blue, so I did blue. And I'm thinking about doing red calipers next with the new Brembo logo on it, just to make it pop a little bit more, especially with the IS500 wheels, since these are matte black. I feel like the red will pop more because of the bigger spacing between the spokes. And then I just have the orange reflector on the headlights, and everything else is really blacked accent out. I have the carbon fiber fog light covers. Yeah, so really the only color on the outside besides blue and black or carbon fiber would be the calipers, the reflector, and the back reflector. So probably gonna get those swapped out. The front ones I might leave, just because I don't feel like sourcing out the clear ones and then having to take them off and put the new ones back on and all that. So I'll just leave those alone. But since that's just an easy, quick little thing to do, just pop the bumper off and do that, might just do that next. But yeah, so that's number one, is going to be just the exterior and the way I have it set up right now. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell the bumper, the wrap got a little messed up because my lip ripped off. So that, and then plus it's cold, so it's making it curl. Other than that, really love the exterior. Probably the best part of the car to me, honestly. All right, let's move into number two. All right, everybody, so picking back up, I got kicked out of the last spot. Yeah, that was number one. Number one is gonna be exterior for sure. Number two, I come right over here. I'll pop this. It's gonna be the 5-liter V8. I mean, it's a V8, come on now. Makes about 415, 420 horse. I'm pretty sure that they actually they dyno at about 360, I think, reliably. I mean, I'm basically stock. I just got a carbon fiber intake. Yes, if there's any cost watching, it is carb legal. I also have a full X-Force exhaust with a muffler delete. Yeah, I mean, it's a V8, it's Lexus, basically a Toyota at heart. Reliable. I mean, I've only done oil changes, brakes, and tires. That's really about it in the 2 years I've owned it. I mean, there's not really anything bad to say about it, besides that in the lower RPMs it does feel kind of slow, and not until you hit that 3K where the secondary intake opens up. Not until that happens is when you actually start feeling more torque and stuff. And yeah, my plastic shroud cracked, so I gotta see if I can get that fixed or something. And also my hood struts are done. So yeah, that's really about it for the engine. I mean, it's mechanically sound. I mean, you know, there's a guy who has 430,000 miles on his, and I only got, you know, 208. Yeah, I mean, I drive it a lot because when I got it 2 years ago, it was at 170, 175. So yeah, number two is going to be the engine. And yeah, that's really about it. right, so number 3 is gonna be in the interior, but it's kind of something I did. It's gonna be the screen. So the factory screen, you have the map and Bluetooth, you have them on the later models. So mine's an 09, so I don't have Bluetooth audio. I still have just the plug, the aux cord here. So what I did was I went and got out the Grom V line. Gotta hit with that startup. So everything starts up the same, but you got your CarPlay. So how that works is you have that box right there. So that box, once you have your cable plugged into it and you plug your phone in, depending on what it is, if it's Apple or if it's Android, whatever, it'll detect it and it'll give you that. So me being an Apple guy, I got Apple CarPlay, and honestly it really makes the car a lot newer. It really not wakes it up, but gives it that newish look. There's people that come in my car and they're thrown off because I say it's a 09, and they're like, what? Like, they probably think it's like a 2015 or up, because of one, the interior itself is timeless, and two, that just makes it look a lot better too, because it's actually a pretty big screen. I would prefer this V-line because it has factory functions and everything. I still have steering wheel controls, all these buttons work, all the buttons work. I can go back to map if I wanted to, but I have a cable that's a little loose. There you go. So yeah, you still have factory map. You still have climate control. It's a little warm. Turn it on. You have all your controls that still work here. Your info, your display controls. You got your menu. So everything's still functional, but if you wanted to, after you plug that in and after you set it up, you can just throw it to disc and aux. Damn, my bad. And then that will give you back to your CarPlay screen. And from here, you have all your settings, you have all your controls, boom. And if you wanted to go back to the regular Grom interface, tap that. Now you're back to the Grom interface. And I do have the OBD check because I have my Bluetooth OBD plugged in underneath. So if I wanted to, just plug it right in, boom, tells you my code on the screen of the car. So that's pretty cool. But you also have Bluetooth. If your CarPlay doesn't work, you have Bluetooth, so you can just Bluetooth straight to the box, and then you have music that way. But the cool thing is, recently they just updated the firmware, so now you actually have wireless CarPlay. There's like that little 10-second, 5-second delay, like if you were to play or pause or skip a song, but it's pretty cool because if your cable goes bad, you have that as a backup. So you'll still have your CarPlay and everything. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's gonna do it for the number 3, my bad, is gonna be the interior like that, or the navigation screen and the Grom, especially because I prefer this over the big screen that people get, just because, one, it's aftermarket, so the fitment's not 100%, and I've seen pictures where there's gaps everywhere, so I don't like that. I like this. It gives that pristine Lexus fitment still, while still having newer stuff. And also, since I have my sub in the back, there's it works perfectly fine with it. Like all the speakers, I have Mark Levinson, all the speakers and the sub, they all work fine with each other, so that's pretty cool. Also, I don't know if you can tell, let me turn my light off. I did update all the lights to white, so it does matches the cluster. The only thing is the push start is still green. So I do want to swap this out for a Tom's push start. And then when I do that, I want to see if it's possible to swap out that green color for a white like the rest. But yeah, so that's gonna be number 1. It's just gonna be the number 3 is gonna be just the infotainment, I guess you would call it. I mean, it's an old infotainment, but it's still infotainment. But yeah, it's gonna be the number 3. All right, so number 4, sticking back in the car, is gonna be the transmission itself. I can't really show you guys the transmission without going under the car, and I'm lowered, so it's not gonna be doable. But it's gonna be transmission. For those who don't know, it is gonna be an 8-speed automatic. I mean, really, the 2 extra gears are just gonna be like extra overdrive gears, so you can get a little bit extra gas saving out of it. I mean, honestly, everything in the car is mechanically sound. The engine's mechanically sound, the transmission, the axles, the diff, drivetrain, everything's perfect in the car. The only thing I don't like is on the 2ISs and up, Toyota started making sealed transmission, so you can't check the transmission fluid because it's supposed to be lifetime fluid. I don't buy that at all. There's a lot of people that don't buy it. I would say change your transmission fluid regularly, especially if you're in the F and you're beating on it, and especially if you track your F. Luckily I don't. I kind of just, it's my daily driver. I do beat on it sometimes here and there on the freeway, but really I kind of just take it slow. I don't really, you know, go too crazy. But I did swap out the transmission fluid at one point, and as soon as I did, the transmission felt 100 times better, a lot more snappier, a lot more quick. You know, it just wakes it up a lot more. It's the monster it's supposed to be. And I mean, honestly, there's nothing really not to like about the transmission itself. It's very strong, it's reliable, it holds the gears long. And the only bad thing, I don't want to say it's a bad thing, is that if you do swap out the fluid for the transmission, there's a plug on the side of the transmission housing you have to undo, and then, you know, it's a job. But after you do it, you won't regret it. It's definitely a good upgrade, just good maintenance. The 8-speed. And I mean, honestly, when you're driving, you have your windows down or something, and you're punching on the freeway, and if you were to throw it into manual mode and do a shift up, once you get to the top of the red line, you'll hear the transmission punch and go into the next gear, and it's solid. It's like a good solid feel and, you know, sound, like, okay, like I'm moving. Yeah, it's very, very sturdy, very stout. The only thing that people do complain about is the fact that when you're in manual mode, to upshift you go up, to downshift you go down. People don't like it, I guess, and they also sell a little wiring harness that swaps the two. So then it would be up for downshift and then back for upshift, which I get if it was like a sequential transmission, but honestly, like, I don't really mind how I kind of like you push up for upshift and you down for downshift. I mean, that makes more sense to me. But yeah, so that's about it. And also too, I don't know if it's just me, I haven't really looked it up, but for me, in my personal experience, I've noticed that if you drive it in manual mode and in sport mode and you shift with the actual shifter itself, the shift is a lot stronger, a lot more responsive, and a lot more aggressive, which I like personally, compared to the paddle shifters. And yes, this overlay is coming undone. I'm gonna have to put some crazy glue or something underneath and put a towel in this crevice to hold it down. But yeah, that's bothering me. But yeah, the paddle shifters itself, they work, they're not bad, but whenever you do use them, there's like a quarter to a half second delay when you shift. So if you're going womp and you're at, you know, red line's what, 6,800, if you're at 65 and you upshift, you'll probably bang the limiter for, you know, a second, not a second, but you'll hit the limiter, bang off of it for a little bit, and then it'll shift. Where if you're in on the shifter and you do it, it's basically almost instantaneous. But yeah, so that's gonna be number 4. It's gonna be transmission for sure. It's a big boy, it's an 8-speed. It would have been cool if they did a 10-speed, like how they do in the LC 500, I think it is, has a 10-speed. But the IS 500 has an 8-speed, which is like the newer version of this one, I'm guessing. Just because this is the 09, this is like the older version of the transmission. And plus in 09, I don't really think there were any other cars that were, you know, that had a 8-speed or a 10-speed. Might have been, I'm not sure off the top of my head. But yeah, also I think, if I'm not wrong, that when this transmission came out, this was actually the fastest shifting transmission. I think it was like, it shifts in like a quarter of or a tenth of a second or something like that, some crazy number. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for number 4. It's gonna be the transmission for sure. All right, so for number 5, honestly, is just gonna be just drivability and maintenance. Like, the cool thing about the first F, or the first yeah, it is the first F car. The cool thing about the first F car is that it is honestly a Camry at heart. Like, if you're just driving it normal, you know, you can get some good MPGs. Like me personally, I got 28.2 MPGs on a 90-mile trip, and I took a picture of it, so I'll put that up there too. But yeah, 28.2 miles per gallon, and that was me going 80 cruise control in snow mode. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a Camry at heart, but if you step on it, put in sport mode, then you know it's a Mustang killer. A Mustang, Charger, Challenger, Mero, Subi. You know, there's a lot of cars out there that really don't know what it is. So if you pull up next to them, you know, they'll think you're a 250 or 350 until you step on it, and then they're like, oh yeah, that's not a 250 or a 350. But yeah, so it's just drivability on it. It's very, very comfortable. Me personally, I do have BC coilovers all around right now. I actually bought the car with them on. The seller actually put them on about a month before I bought it. So I have BCs all around, and honestly, they are a lot better than the HKS coilovers. I had those on my 350 that I had before this. The HKS ones are good. They're just very, very stiff, and honestly, that's probably the ones I would put if I was actually tracking the car consistently. But for a daily driver, a little more sporty, a little more, you know, tightened up, I would say definitely BCs are the way to go. And honestly, everything's really, really, you know, quiet. There's no rattles, nothing shakes. Everything's just honestly perfect with the car when driving. It's your driver's car. And yeah, so there's nothing really I would change about that. This is kind of a sneak peek going into the next video. That I don't like is that on the front of the F cars, they like to nosedive for whatever reason. The front just likes to nosedive a little bit more than the rear, even if you have the suspension dialed up exactly the same. So that's why I would recommend going springs, coilovers over springs, because coilovers, you have some adjustability, you can fix that a little bit, compared to springs, it's just dropped and you can't really, you know, move them. And honestly, just maintenance. I mean, again, I've had the car for 2 years and I've only done oil changes, brakes, and tires. I mean, oil changes are kind of pricey. I do go to you know, get them done at a shop, just because it's almost the same price if I were to actually go and buy all the stuff myself and then do it. I think the only price difference is like $5 or $10. So I'm like, at that point, I'd rather just, you know, drop it off, come back in an hour or two and pick it up when it's already done. But it's pretty pricey. I think it's like 80 bucks. And I mean, tires, I have a warranty on all 4 tires. So I had the SOOL1s, Potenzas. I have those, so I'm rocking those on all 4 corners. And then I have the IS500 wheels on them. So yeah, I mean, just brakes, tires. I did brakes once 2 years ago when I first got the car, just because I want to make sure the car would stop if I hit the brakes. So I did brakes, tires, and oil changes. One, because my car doesn't burn oil either. It doesn't burn oil, it doesn't burn coolant, everything's mechanically sound. Really nothing to complain about, honest, with the car. So yeah, that's gonna be it for number 5. I'll catch you guys in a little bit. The car was, and honestly, it's kind of crazy too how good the car looks, you know, without my lip kit. Because I don't know if you guys remember, I have carbon fiber Tom's rear diffuser. I have carbon fiber side skirt extensions, Tom's too, and well, now no more. I don't have a Tom's lip. I'm gonna just get a eBay lip and wrap it carbon fiber to match. But honestly, stock body, it looks really good, especially in this light right here. That looks crazy. Oh yeah, it looks really good. Only thing is I need to wash her again. She's dirty. And all right. And then because I am using a car cover at night and like during the day and stuff, for whatever reason, I guess it got really windy one night and the car cover flew off and it fell on the floor. I didn't see it, my dad saw it and threw it back on the car, but now, you know, the inside of the cover is dirty, so whenever I put the cover on, it's starting to get dirty on the outside of the car. So I gotta wash the cover and, you know, figure that out. I think I could do it. But that's gonna do it for this video. Next video is gonna be 5 things I hate about the F, which is gonna be a little harder, just because, you know, I love my car. So we're gonna figure that out probably in a couple days, maybe a week. Yeah, other than that, I'll catch y'all in the next video for sure.